Hello and welcome. I am here with one of my wonderful clients, Kim, and she wants to share her story about training with me and what it was like. So, Kim, first let's start off with thank you so much for doing this. Let's tell people where you were before you started training with me. What were you doing?
I had spent many years, probably a good 18 years, just doing some independent stuff. I'd worked with a number of medical clinics, with a number of trainers, different programs, different classes that I took, some spin classes and exercise classes, Pilates, et cetera, et cetera. I worked with a couple nutritionists, trying a lot of fad diets, a lot of trying to lose weight quick and that kind of thing. Exercise is not my friend. I don't enjoy exercise, so I was looking for as many loopholes as possible around that. But I did actually try exercise as well at different times. For me, I'd been battling with a weight issue. I've been battling with weight issues probably most of my life, on and off. But when I was pregnant with my son, who is now 19, so that's why I'm doing the math at about 17 years or so. When I was pregnant with him, I gained quite a bit of weight. When he was born, he had a lot of medical problems, and I wasn't able to be active. I had to sit by a hospital bed, etc., for a long time, and wasn't able to be mobile. I'd also torn both my Achilles tendons giving birth to him, and so that limited my mobility for the first year of his life. And because I was focusing on him, I wasn't focusing on my own health care, my own medical needs. So my tendons healed incorrectly. They healed wrong. And so that sort of compounded a lot of issues, which just basically gave me permission to not exercise. And so then the weight stayed on and just sort of kept growing in little bits. But I was feeling, for many years that I wanted to do something about that.
Awesome. Yeah, that sounds like a list of things to give you reasons to not do anything. And also because, just after having a baby, you want to take care of the baby for sure. Absolutely. So then what made you seek out a trainer and why me?
Well, I finally had to admit that my son, being in really good health and being fit himself and moving into adulthood, was probably no longer an excuse for me to not take care of myself. I started to have a lot of, just as I was getting older, and I think probably because I was carrying the weight for as long as I had, I started to have a lot of problems with my knees. Arthritis had developed really bad. Like I said earlier, the tendons in my ankles were shot. And so I was finding it really difficult to get around. I was using a walker quite a bit. I was using a cane. And my quality of life, right? Like I just wasn't feeling good. I wasn't feeling my age. I wasn't feeling my energy levels that I had in my heart and in my spirit, because I couldn't do the things. I couldn't even bend down to tie shoes, really. My balance was really bad. I couldn't do any of those kinds of things. And so that started to wear on me after a while. And my son is a very healthy young man, and so he's constantly encouraging me, go for walks and do things with him. And I was just becoming more and more frustrated at the fact that I couldn't do the things that I wanted to do. And all of the things that I had been pursuing really had hit a dead end. I was not getting anywhere with the medical help. I wasn't getting anywhere with naturopaths. I wasn't getting anywhere with any sort of assistance. I'd actually pretty much given up. I kind of had imagined that I was just going to be this way and physically kind of be a little miserable for the rest of my life. I was kind of trying to accept it, and it wasn't working because I kind of believed and knew in my heart that there had to be more, there could be more. And I'm a very stubborn person, so when I want something, I don't really accept other people telling me I can't have it. And so I was really getting frustrated with the fact that the universe was fighting against me, and that the doctors were saying no, I wouldn't be able to be mobile, et cetera, et cetera. I was looking at double knee surgery, knee replacements, and I was really just struggling with, because of my age, their hesitation at trying to move forward on some surgical procedures that would give me the mobility I was looking for. But I didn't want to wait another 10 years until I was the age that they felt would be the most appropriate. So I would have to just sit and be uncomfortable and be gaining more weight and being in more pain for that period of time. So I kind of just said, okay, I need to do something. I'd seen a couple of ads, I think on Facebook for yourself. It was somebody local. I was not interested in going into a regular Beachbody kind of gym, mostly because I don't fit in there and I'm older and I'm, not quite as up on what to do with all that sort of physical stuff. And I would make a complete fool out of myself, no doubt. So I was nervous, I was anxious, I was discouraged and defeated before I even started. But something in me said I had to try it one more time. And so I reached out to you. And if I remember correctly, our first meeting was just the assessment meeting. And I didn't have much hope. I didn't believe that a lot would change that particular day, but I was going through the motions of trying it anyway, regardless of what I really thought the outcome might end up being.
Yeah, and I do remember that, and it's so true. I mean, sometimes we get to that defeated moment where we feel like nothing's going to work, but let's try this next thing because you have that glimmer of hope that is inside of you because that's what made you take that step for sure. But we do feel so deflated after a while of trying every little thing. So let's talk about some of your aha moments that you've had since training with me.
Well, my aha moments have not come by scale. I still struggle with weight loss. I don't lose weight. However, it has changed. And I'm not going to use the pat line of, oh, it's all turned into muscle. And that's why it's still on the scale, because it hasn't. But, but I have had numerous aha moments where, first of all, my balance got better. I was able to stand, get dressed in the morning, do different things, come downstairs instead of one at a time slowly. I was able to actually run up and down stairs. I used to sit and sort of collect all of the tasks I would need to do on a different floor, a different level of my house, so that I would only have to make one trip to that floor because the stairs were so painful, and getting up and down out of a chair, etc., using the cane or the walker. I don't use those things anymore. I don't use them at all. I can get up and down out of bed. I can, run up and down the stairs, like I said. I can go outside. I go for walks with my son now. So over a period of time, it stopped hurting as much. It stopped being a hesitation every single time I tried to move, or when I wanted to do something, the first thought that ran in through my head was, am I going to be able to stand that long or move that much or go in that direction? That stopped happening. And so it's more a hindsight aha moment for me because, one day I just kind of was looking around and went, holy cow, I went up and down the stairs like 5 times today. Or, wow, I went for a walk with my son for an hour. And yeah, sure, I'm a little sore because I am still a heavier girl, but I did it and I felt great and nothing stopped me from that. I wasn't crying 10 minutes into it like I normally had been. So those kinds of moments, I still now pause and something as silly as putting my socks on in the morning where I don't have to sit down to do that all the time. I think to myself, like, wow, I can't believe I've got this back. And it might seem like a silly thing to some people, but for more than 15 years, it had stopped being a possibility for me in the middle of my life. I'm not that old. Don't let the gray hair fool you. But I'm not at a point yet where I should be even considering those kinds of limitations. And so to get that freedom back for me, those aha moments happen regularly and still happen now every time I get to do something that for 15 years I couldn't.
Yeah, I agree. Although we hadn't seen it on the scale, and we have definitely tried to push that scale, we have seen so much mobility. And I think that that's one thing both you and I kind of missed until we started seeing you do stuff like that, like the standing on one leg, the running up and down the stairs as part of your workout. And after that, you still had to work and you still had to manage your household and stuff. So you have had some, I think, amazing, surmountable success within your mobility, within your endurance, and within your overall strength to be able to do all of those things. And like you said, not just plan it to be on one activity of one day, on one floor, and I can only do this today. So now you're kind of doing everything and it doesn't stop you anymore. So I love that.
One of the other things oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
One of the other things I wanted to mention too is that I don't need knee surgery anymore at this point. I had a very minor surgery to repair some damage, some torn whatever it was, I don't even remember, and to fix both of the knees, scrape them both out. But I didn't have to have knee replacement at that time. And since working out with you, that knee replacement surgery, the need for it has moved massively. I'm nowhere near the amount of pain I used to be in. And so I'm not even pursuing it. I'm not even talking to doctors about it anymore. The doctors were shocked at that. I was shocked at that. But it was just such a great thing to be able to not even have to consider that, even though I still have arthritis, and I definitely do. That didn't magically get better. But the impact of that arthritis on me is way, way different since working out and having the experiences with you. And it's just kind of fixed a lot of other things as far as that ripple effect goes.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Thank you for sharing that. I was just going to bring that up. So, what would you say to somebody who's contemplating getting back in, have tried a couple of things, they're sick and tired of it, and why would they do this online program?
Well, this may not be the best response. The only thing that I can say is the truth, which just runs through my head, and that is ignore your doctors, ignore the medical profession. They are quacks. They don't know what they're saying and doing as far as, they use the same standard and the same expectations for every single person, and they have no idea about individuals. And that's the difference with you, I think. You have not a medical background, not at all. I don't mean to say that, but you have the knowledge and the education, the experience with the the exercise background, with the physical, physiological kinds of stuff that you need to know for proper, safe, appropriate exercise. And you don't stop there. You don't say, okay, tell me what your doctor said, or tell me what, your health records are saying you can or can't do. You always adapted anything that we were working on based on strengthening what I felt I was most defeated by, what I was most depressed about. You focused on those areas with me, and you helped me almost become friends with those areas again. You've helped me sort of accept all of me instead of just parts of me and have to accommodate the other parts, if you will. And so I think anybody who works with you, and I constantly am very happy to post this on social media when people are asking for somebody who isn't the same old, build muscle, be out there to sort of be all bulked and work, do a show of some sort where you're, showing off your muscles. You're about health and wellness. You're about what can a person do within themselves to sort of go beyond their own expectations and their own goals, not to compare to everybody else, not to try and match what, any person of my age or my height or my weight should be doing. You work with the individual, and you work with where we're at or where I was at, and you're able to modify everything. You're able to keep pushing me when I definitely did not want to be pushed on different times. You have a great personality in that you are patient and understanding. I can say that in my profession, I'm often the support person for other people. And so it made it a little nerve-wracking for me to drop my guard, to be vulnerable and allow somebody to be my support person. And you did that without making me feel embarrassed or ashamed in any way. You never thought less of me, and you never allowed me to think less of myself or expect less of myself. You constantly pushed in the right amount. Some days, boy, I could not walk or move around real easily after our exercise because of good pain, because of that muscle pain that you get when you actually do exercise properly. And within 24 hours, I was always loving that feel. But you always pushed and pushed. And I think that individual approach and that approach to overall wellness, instead of just numbers on a scale or numbers on a measuring tape that say that a person should be here or should be there, that kind of individuality that you offer, and just your own personality. There were many times, and I know you can attest to this, where I would swear at you, or I would yell at you, or I would not be a fan of yours in the middle of something you were making me do. And you always took it with a smile, and you never personalized it, and you always had me laughing by the end of a session. And so I think if you can do that with somebody as negative and defeated as I was, you can do it with anybody. And so I think that that's probably the greatest boost I would ever say to anybody is it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what your doctors have told you or other exercise, what do you call yourself, other trainers, whatever. It doesn't matter what other people have told you. Start fresh. And your program, your hands-on, especially the one-to-one support that you do with people, and even the small group supports that you do with people, they're very individualized, and you can give that personal attention to everybody.
Oh, thank you so much, Kim, for that. I really appreciate it. And I know I enjoy our time together and our chitter chatter. And yes, there's been times where I have shown up to Kim's house and she gives me the warning of I'm sore, I had a hard day yesterday. And I'm like, yeah, absolutely, no worries. And we just keep going. So yeah, and by the end of it, she felt great and was ready to get going again on the next day. So that's
Yeah,
awesome.
it's true because sometimes I couldn't even get through the warm-ups. I would be in so much pain from my physical problems. I'd be in so much pain, and it plays a huge part on my mentality, right? And so I was always like dreading, starting and didn't want to do it that day and would have put it off if it wasn't for the commitment that you show up whether I want you to or not. And so that kind of, face to face over, whether it's over Zoom like this, whether it's a program with other people, it doesn't matter. You still have that personal reach out to people, and you got me through those moments until things would loosen up, until I would start to feel a little bit smoother, and you didn't push me to do maybe as much as I did in the last session if I was not able to. You modify it based on still getting the most out of me, but not pushing me past what I'm truly able to do.
Yes, awesome. Thank you so much. Well, if anybody listening to this, if Kim sounds like you've tried everything, it's been years, you feel like there's no hope, knees ache, body aches, list of surgeries ready to go, there is hope. There's absolutely hope. And so make that step, take that chance on yourself, again, putting yourself first, and click the link below. Book a call with me. That's all it has to start with, is just a conversation, no commitment necessary. Let's just talk and see where you're at. I'd be more than happy to have that conversation, at least give you some guidance on some steps to take forward. So Kim, thank you so much for sharing your story with everybody today. And yeah, it's been amazing, and I truly enjoy working with you. So thank you so much.
And for anybody who's listening, I can't say this enough. You won't regret reaching out to Carla, even if it's just to talk once or twice. If it's just now and you're not ready to move forward until later, she's really able to. She's somebody you can relate to. She's somebody you can talk to. So take that chance and reach out to her.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Again, the link is below. Have that conversation, and let's see what's next for you to reclaim that body and take back that life.